Here's the man to call the play-by-play, Wally Minnis. Wally?
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Good evening, everybody. A cold, windy night. The rain, though, has stopped, and hopefully we won't see any more of that this evening. And right now, the Admirals got it ready, teed up the kickoff, and here it comes. Castelli boots it down the field. Fielded in the midfield, and that's Greg Williams up to about the 30-yard line where he goes down. And that's where the Lorain Steelmen will start at 1st and 10 this evening. Checking Lorain on offense on the line at the tackles, David Larson and Ruben Belisario. The guards, Josh Terry and Zach Rousseau. The quarterback is Jason Christensen. He'll get the ball from center Dan Forbes. His running backs, London Chapman and Don Church, with Jeff Dudziak and Damian Strouser, the wideouts. Zabo split out to the left. The tight end is Dudziak. Back to pass Christensen. The ball bobbled on the right sideline, and they're going to call it an incomplete pass. Intended for Strouser, went off his hands. It was a little bit high. Christensen led him just about right, but it falls incomplete. That'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
In this first quarter, Wally, the Steelmen are going to be going in right into the teeth of the wind, so it's not going to be an easy time passing into that wind. They may get a couple of floaters here.
The wind is strong out of the north. There's got to be a gale warning on Lake Erie. In the backfield is Don Church. Back to pass. Quick pop over the middle is Christensen. The ball is caught by the wideout. Pickup of about 4 yards.
Paid a price for it, though. He went up into the air and had his legs cut out.
Damian Strouser got hit hard. He goes off the field limping. Again, a pickup of about 4. That'll bring up a 3rd and 6. Just a real quick slant, and no, he's not. Strouser's going to stay in. And Lorain with a no huddle. Church in the backfield. One wide out is Strouser. Back to pass Christensen. We've got a flag on the play. Pass on the right sideline, overthrown. Christensen led Strouser too much, and Strouser is really hurt. I can't believe he stayed in for that play. Now the flag, and we'll see who the penalty will go against. Illegal procedure against Lorain. The Admirals should decline it.
I'd keep the down, yeah.
And force Lorain to punt. They're talking it over right now. Lorain dressed in their road white jerseys, the black pants, the black helmets, and the gold trim. The penalty is declined, bringing up a 4th and, well, we'll call it 5. It's about 5.5. The home Admirals dressed in their home navy blue jerseys, the gold pants, the dark blue helmets with the gold Rams tail and horns on the helmet. Back to punt Lorain. The kick is off, a short one. End over end's going to hit at the 45 and go down at the Admiral King 40. Not getting a good foot into it was Jeff Dudziak, the punter, so the Admirals will begin at 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. And they've got the wind at their backs here in the first quarter. Sending the Admiral King offense at center is Raul Velez. His guards, Matt Penrod and Phil Rukowski. The tackles, Jeremy Wilt, along with Kevin Bowman. The quarterbacks, Tony DiTilio, with running backs Ken Boone and Herb Hagwood. They're set in the eye. Boone in front of Hagwood. DiTilio waits the snap from center. He pitches back to Hagwood. Hagwood across the 40, up to the 45, and knocked out of bounds at the 47-yard line. A pick of about 7 or 8 on the play.
Nice trap play. They got one of the guards coming over there and made a nice block to open up that hole for him.
Pickup of about, well, we'll call it 8-7 maybe for Hagwood, bringing up a 2nd and 3. The wideouts for the Admirals, Raji Matthews and Mike O'Neill. In the eye, in motion comes Hagwood to the left. The handoff goes up the middle, fumble the football. He tried to hand it off to Boone, and Boone fell on it.
Yeah, Boone got it back. Never really had control of it, but at least he had the presence of mind to keep an eye on the ball and fall on it.
It could have been a disastrous play, but Boone did a good job in just falling on it. A.J. Yancey was a wideout on that last play. Paul Lawson comes split wide out to the right, and Yancey out to the left. Eye in the backfield, Boone and Hagwood behind the quarterback, DiTilio. Now, Lawson moved, and that's going to be an illegal procedure penalty as the handoff goes up the middle to Hagwood, but that's going to march Admiral King 5 yards back. The center, Raul Velez, was pointing first down, but I don't think Raul saw the flag fly. And the Admirals will be penalized 5.
Well, the whistle didn't blow for one thing.
Yeah, we didn't hear a whistle.
That was a late whistle. Referee kind of hesitated. As soon as that wideout moved, he should have called the play dead because it's a dead ball foul.
So they'll march at 5 yards back. That'll bring up a second down, and we'll call it 8 yards for the Admirals. Again, both the Admirals and Steelman come in without a win in the conference. They're 0-2, 1-4 overall. Lorain's win came against East Tech on this field. Admiral King's win came against Cleveland West Tech. High in the backfield. Now in the slot is Lawson. Pitch back to Hagwood. Hagwood across the 45. He'll get knocked down about the 47-yard line, bringing up a 3rd and 3. And on the tackle for the Steelmen, Greg Williams up from his safety position. Also, Zach Rousseau in on the tackle, and that'll bring up again. Well, they've got 4th down, but it should be 3rd. Across the way, the yard marker has 4th. Well, maybe that is right. Back in punt formation for the Admirals is Nathan Buck. Buck gets it as it hits the ground, the snap, and the punt is away. Hits at the 27. It takes an Admirals roll down inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line. Mike, I missed a down there somehow, but I thought with the penalty.
Well, it was 3rd down at the penalty. And then they took it, it remained 3rd down, and then
they didn't get the first on the run by Hagwood.
Right.
So the Steelmen get the ball back. Both teams exchange punts here in the early going. And the Steelmen are on offense. We'll set the Admirals defense for you this time. Up front, Phil Rakowski at an end, along with Marco Rodriguez at the right end. Matt Penrod and Earl Torres the tackles. The linebackers, Mike O'Neill, Tony DiTilio, and Ken Boone. The corners, Paul Lawson and Jason Jackson. Herb Hagwin and Raji Matthews, the safeties. In motion comes Church. He gets the handoff in the backfield from Christensen. He'll take it across the 20-yard line up to maybe the 21, a gain of about 4 on the play.
Last week when we saw Lorain against Midview, I'll tell you something, that was a whale of a ball game. The Steelmen really played a very good second half, and Don Church led the way. He went out in the middle of the 4th quarter. He got a little banged up a little bit, but he looks like he's well tonight.
Wambi Davis is a player they look to get back this evening. He's been banged up. We haven't seen him yet. So the Steelmen come to the line on a 2nd and 6. Church in the backfield, Greg Williams directly behind quarterback Jason Christensen. In motion comes Williams, the handoff, and a quick one will go inside. And on the carry was Wambi Davis seeing his first action. Davis picked up about 4 on the play, bringing up maybe a second, make it a 3rd and a yard. They're a little bit short as they'll keep the ball on the ground here on this second possession. They passed twice on their first possession.
Now, I think if I remember correctly, Wambi Davis was out due to injury, correct?
Wambi was injured.
Ankle, knee?
I'm not sure.
Terry didn't tell you?
No, I wasn't filled in on what his injury was. Now, that was close enough for a first down for a measurement, and Davis did pick up the first down. First one of the evening by either team. Looked a little bit short from here. As we look off to our right, again, the Steelmen going from right to left here to the north end zone in this first quarter. We've got 7:09 left to play in the first. Game is scoreless. Steelmen come up to the ball, and the officials have a momentary delay. As
last week against the Middies, Wally, Lorain came out, they passed a lot on first down. Let's see what the play call here is.
Christensen in the backfield. Church in the slot. In motion comes Williams. Now on a misdirection play, the handoff goes to Church, and Church is going to be throwing for a loss of about 3 yards.
That was the same play they ran with Church the first time, and the Admirals really rose to the occasion. You know, the Admirals seem to be really fired up tonight.
They are. Both teams were very fired up. Again, as you mentioned in the opening, in their pregame exercises and warm-ups, they were going at it. We've got a pretty good crowd on hand for a very cold night with wind chill temperatures in the 20s. Last tackle, by the way, Matt Penrod of Admiral King. So we've got a 2nd and about 12. Fake handoff by Christensen to Church. He's back to throw. Throws right wide open. Over there is Zabo. He slips down on the wet turf.
That was a nice fake between Christensen and Church.
But Zabo on the receiving end picks up about 7 yards. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for the Steelmen. Nice fake, play action. Had Admiral King frozen, as Mike mentioned, and Zabel was open and could have picked up the first down had he not slipped. So a key 3rd down play. Greg Williams now in the left slot, Church in the right. In motion comes Williams. In the backfield is, let's see, is it Davis London Chapman on the carry, and Chapman's going to get a first down. He was grabbed just a yard or so past the line of scrimmage, but London Chapman, the big fullback, drags him for a first down. 2nd on the drive for the Steelmen, and Chapman took it up to the 39-yard line of Lorain, and they've got a 1st and 10.
Nothing fancy there. That was given to the fullback and let him go. There's a couple of Steelmen had a handful of jersey, but he just took those guys along with him for a ride.
Again, double slot. In motion comes Williams. The handoff on a misdirection comes Church. Church with a nice pickup of almost 5 yards, up to about the 44-yard line.
It's going to be a nice little trap play, that misdirection, because they're getting the guard and the tackle over there crisscrossing, knocking each other's guy out, and Church just comes through the hole.
Only once has it failed on the one tackle for a loss. And the center, Dan Forbes, up to the football, and call it a 2nd and 5. Double slots again. That's Church and Williams. Church in motion. Fake handoff to Chapman. Fake to Church, and rolling out to his left is is Christensen, and a completed pass downfield. All the way down to the Admiral King 39-yard line.
And he was all by himself. That play action freezes everybody in their spot, and that really frees up Christensen, who's an excellent faker. And plus, we talked about this last week. He's 6'5", and that allows him to see over a lot of people, especially the shorter linebackers, and that really gives him a lot of room to survey, and he does an excellent job at that.
Jeff Dudziak on the hookup for the first down. 1st and 10, Admiral King 39-yard line. Ball fake handoff to Chapman up the middle. Christensen keeps it. He might have gained a yard, maybe a yard and a half, as he took it over left tackle. Swarmed there by the left side of the Admirals defense. Lawson came up from his defensive back post. Penrod in on the tackle, as well as Marco Rodriguez. A gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Steelmen. Split wide out to the left is Zabo. Double slot. Church in motion. Church gets the handoff over right tackle. Church across the 35 down to about the 34-yard line.
Did a good job of slipping some tackles by just keeping his feet moving, and I know that's what Coach Hunsinger likes to see, is those perpetual motion machines going north and south, keep it moving. He did a couple of nice spins and spun out of a couple of tackles for that extra couple of yards.
They're running real well over that right side, opening up the holes for Lorain, Zach Rousseau, and Ruben Belisario. 3rd down and about 5 yards. They've got to get to the Admiral King 29. Ball at the 34. Christensen calls the signals, and in motion comes Church. We've got a flag.
All over the place.
Yeah. As the handoff went to Greg Williams. Williams was the one who stood up just a little bit too soon.
Well, that should have been the foul right there.
From his slot position, it should have been, although they called it late.
Yeah.
Now they're going to call it.
But when they called it, there were 3 little hankies up in the air.
So that'll be 5 yards. March back against the Steelmen.
Takes you from a 3rd and 5 to a 4th and 10, so that's a drive killer right there.
They decline it. Now it's 4th down.
So they're leaving it at 4th and 5.
Well, they lose the down and yardage. And
well, how can that? No, you can't do that.
Well, I'm not sure.
No,
that's what happened before, I think.
It's got to stay 4th and 5.
That's what I thought, but well, here we go. Into punt is Dudziak. Dudziak with a good snap from center, hangs a nice one into the wind, gets knocked down, takes a sideways bounce out of bounds here on the left sideline, at about the 21-yard line, and that's where the Admirals will put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. I'm not sure then what that call was. It must not have been illegal motion. They lost the down and the yardage on just a straight handoff when it looked like tailback Greg Williams jumped the gun. Call it about the 23-yard line is where that ball went out of bounds, and here come the Admirals. 1st and 10. The quarterback is DeTilio. Full house backfield, hand off to Hagwood. Hagwood's going to be tripped up and knocked down at the line of scrimmage by the Steelman. In on the tackle for Lorain, David Larson, along with Jody Coleman. Now Coleman will go off the field. And the Admirals look at a 2nd and we'll call it 11, a loss of a yard that time for Hagwood. Again, full house backfield. And the handoff goes over left tackle, and that's Hagwood, and he struggles ahead to about the 25-yard line for a gain of about 2 yards, bringing up a 3rd and 7. Tackle for Lorain was London Chapman. Also in on the tackle was Wamby Davis. Both those players go both ways. Passing situation, they've got the wind at their backs. Has DeTilio attempted a pass yet, Mike?
No, not this evening.
We'll see if this is his first one. Calling the signals, and down low at center is DeTilio. DeTilio drops back to pass, rolls to his left. Now he's going to run it. Nowhere to go, really. He gets it across the 25 and just past the line of scrimmage where he gets knocked down, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Wally, that did not look like that was a busted play. That looked like it was designed all the way for him to bootleg rollout.
And the receivers downfield weren't open. So the Admirals will be forced to punt. Into punt for Admiral King is Nathan Buck. Back to receive for Lorain. Greg Williams. And Buck gets a left foot into it. Nice punt with the win. Williams receives it, gets knocked down and hit about midfield, and he may have gotten it that far as about 3 Admirals were in on the tackle. So Lorain will begin their possession again. And their 3rd try of the evening. We're scoreless here with just over a minute left in the first quarter.
Lorain put together a 10-play drive the last time they had the ball, but it ran into penalty problems and promptly died at the 39-yard line of the Admiral King Admirals. And, well, see what happens this time. A little better field position.
In motion comes Williams. Ball handed off up the middle. That's Davis. Davis
goodbye.
Tackled on Church, excuse me. And it looked as if he was going to break it.
Oh, he one man to beat, and he reached up and grabbed a shoestring.
A saving tackle, but a big pickup all the way down to the Admiral King 33-yard line.
Very reminiscent of what he did in the second half last week against Midview.
About a 17-yard game for Don Church, who's in the slot right now. Williams, the back behind Christensen. Christensen the handoff, and that goes to London Chapman, who fumbles the football, and it looks like Admiral King's got it down at the Admiral's 22-yard line. The officials haven't made an indication, and it is the Admiral's football. London Chapman on a nice game, but coughs it up, and the Admiral King fans like it. Once again, the Steelmen move the ball, and this time turn it over on the first turnover of the evening, and the blue-clad Admirals get it back. I couldn't tell who picked up that fumble. But the Admirals with possession. 1st and 10. Their own 23-yard line. Boone ahead of Hagwood in the backfield. Hagwood with the handoff, busts it up the middle. Takes it across the 25 up to near the 30-yard line. He is tackled there by Church of the Steelmen. Also, Gil Maldonado went on the tackle. Pickup of about 7 yards, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 3.
Hagwood's having a pretty good night so far.
And we've reached the end of the first quarter, a scoreless first quarter here at George Daniel. With the score, Admiral King nothing and Lorain nothing. We'll be back with second quarter action after play. The Admirals began the drive from their own 27-yard line. A pickup on a 1st down that time by running back Terrence Williams. So the Admirals with their first down of the evening from the 35. Handoff in the backfield goes to Hagwood. He's bottled up and stacked up at the line of scrimmage. We'll call it no gain. Once again now here in the second, with the team switching sides of the field, the Admirals have to head into the wind, and a strong one it is, straight off Lake Erie out of the north. We haven't set the Lorain defense for you, and we will do that. In the backfield is Boone, along with Hagwood, the tailback. Matthews, the wideout. Pitch comes back in the backfield, and that time it goes to Jason Jackson. And Jackson with a nice gain. We have a flag on the play. Jackson took it across the 40 to about the 41, but this might be called back.
Admirals trying to mix up their backs a little bit this time around. Hagwood's been used almost exclusively on the ground.
And they're talking it over with the Lorain. This will go against Admiral King.
The Admirals are backing up big time, so it must be a major penalty.
Could be a hold. Be with us at the end of tonight's game. We'll announce our WEOL Chronicle Telegram player of the game and $25 in that player's name to his school's athletic fund.
Or players, as in the case of last night.
That's right. We had co-players last night, the running backs from the Elyria Catholic Panthers, David Vitovitz and Terrell Dixon. It was a 15-yard march off on a hold, and it's a second down and long. The Admirals now on the 27-yard line. They've got to get to the 46 for a first down. DeTilio calls the signals. Full house backfield. And a misdirection. DeTilio hands off, and there we got a fumble, but the Admirals land on it.
One of the blockers who DeTilio outran was trailing the play, and as the ball popped loose and hopped backwards, the bounce of the ball, as the oblong thing has a funny tendency to do, he was able to fall on the ball and retain possession for AK.
Looked like Phil Rutkuski, number 64, on the recovery. And that was, well, maybe a loss of a body yard. That'll bring up a 3rd and 20, a passing situation for the Admirals. DeTilio on the handoff, no pass. And the handoff goes to Jason Jackson. He gets it just across the 25. Pickup of maybe a yard when they spot it. And it'll be 4th down. And we've got another punt in the game. In the punt for Admiral King will be Nathan Buck, who's seen a lot of action. The two punters so far, Buck and Dudziak, are having their own duel in this one, as both teams vie for field position. But Buck this time has to punt into the wind. Ball on the left hash mark. He needs a good snap. Snap is good, and Buck left foots it away down the field, a low punt, and very short. And it'll end up not going too far, only to the Admiral King 48, so the Steelman with excellent field position, as the ball was down at that point without a Steelman touching it. 1st and 10, Lorain.
Well, the Admirals' defense has been on the field a lot, as has the Steelman offense, because, well, so far they've already rattled off 16 plays from scrimmage as compared to, let's call it 11. Well, no, it's more like 15 for the Steelman, but it's been much more impressive drive-wise for the Steelman, who now pick up the ball 1st and 10.
Chapman in the backfield. In motion goes Williams. Ball handed off the middle to the fullback, Chapman, and Chapman will gain only maybe a yard on the play before the Admirals are in. Rutkuski in on the tackle. Also helping him out, Michael Neal and Kenny Boone. Matt Penrod was there, and Errol Torres, a host of Admirals. It'll bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Steelmen as they go left to right. When at their back, look for Christensen to put it in the air. Lone back is Chapman. Williams in motion left. Christensen rolls left. Screen pass goes on the move to Williams. He's got it. Down the sideline he goes. 30, 25, 20. He's going to go. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Just a simple screen pass. Christensen led him real well. Call it a 47-yard completion for the touchdown.
We saw that kind of action from Christensen last week, and basically that's not even a pass, Wally. With him being so tall and lanky, that's a flick of the wrist.
Just a little flick.
He did that a couple of times last week. He doesn't even extend his arm all the way. He just kind of flicked the ball, and it goes out there as the back was in motion.
He had some nice blocking out in front.
Some nice blocking out in front, and it just opened up that whole sideline, and bingo, it's Lorain on the scoreboard.
With 8:14 left, if that's exactly what the clock says, here in the second quarter, Engineer Tim Pagathnik trying to tell me the Lorain Steelmen strike first on a 47-yard pass from Christensen to Williams. In for the extra point attempt is Forbes. The snap is good, the hold's good, the kick is up and no good. The wind pushed it wide right. Could be important, as Forbes couldn't get it to go, but the Steelmen are in front. With the score, 6-0. First points of the night, 47 yards. Screen pass, just a flick of the wrist, as Mike described it, from Jason Christensen, the Steelman quarterback, to Greg Williams. He took it down the left sideline, read his blocks, made a couple of cutbacks, and into the end zone.
You know, we described that as a flick, but he more or less just kind of pushes the ball. He doesn't really pass it.
Dudziak on the kickoff. Fielded downfield by the Admirals as Jason Jackson. Jackson hit hard at about the 18-yard line. And in on the tackle for the Steelmen was Mike Sestelli. Or Sestelli, excuse me. In on the tackle, as we look at the Lorain roster, was Jody Coleman, excuse me.
Well, the Admirals are awfully fired up in the pregame and also at the beginning of this ball game on a couple of nice defensive plays. Let's see if they can get their offense on track this time around against a pretty tough Steelman defense.
They're going to have to move the football. You've got to get points. In motion now goes Hagwood. First time we've seen that. Ball handed up the middle to Boone. Boone on a nice run across the 20, across the 25, and knocked off his feet at about the 27-yard line. A pickup of about 7 or 8 on the play for Ken Boone.
Lest we say that he's making like his namesake and blazing a trail right through the wilderness
just
there.
Like Daniel. Actually, a pickup of almost 9 yards. We'll call it 8 for sure for Boone. One of the youngsters on the Admiral King team. So a good first down play, and that brings up second and short. Boone and Hagwin in the backfield. Yancey split wide left. Pitch back to Hagwood, and it was too high, a fumble, and the Steelmen have it.
Oh, my Lord.
DeTilio's pitch back to Hagwood was a little bit high and a little bit too high for him to handle.
Well, in defense of the running back, in defense of Hagwood, this is one of those nights, if you get the ball stoved off your fingers, you're not going to feel, because it's cold out there tonight.
Very cold. Like, Hagwood just couldn't hang on, and I believe Wamby Davis came up with the fumble recovery for Lorain. So they've got it in excellent position again. First and 10 from the Admiral King, 25-yard line.
Turnovers will kill you.
Church in the slot, along with Williams. He goes behind Chapman. The fake goes to Church. Back to pass. Christensen downfield. All alone in the end zone, but over a throw. And, oh, boy.
They had one of those last week against Midview, too, where you extend your body and there's nothing more you can do. You pray that you're going to make it to the ball. And unfortunately, it just came up empty that time, as it did last week against Midview.
One of the linebackers for the Admirals let Greg Williams go out of the backfield. He was all alone.
Yeah, when you get that one-on-one coverage on a wideout like that with a linebacker, that's a match made in heaven.
That's right. He's going to beat you more times than not, and Williams did just that, but Christensen let him too long, all alone in the end zone. In the backfield, Williams in motion. Ball handed off up the middle. It goes, and a nice gain. Breaking in is Church to the 10, to the 5. Leaps into the end zone and falls just 1 yard shy. He's at the goal line, but not in.
Not enough. He went up in the air, and he just came down at the 1 or the half-yard line. He really hit the ground hard, too.
He did. He tried to hurdle his way into the end zone and fell just a little bit short. He probably, thinking back on it, should have stayed on his feet, but got it to the 1. A big 24-yard pickup for Don Church and the first down. The Steelmen knocking at the door. First and goal at the 1. In the backfield, Church along with Chapman. Christensen calling the signals. Handoff it goes, and touchdown, Don Church. From 1 yard out, he goes over left tackle, and the Steelmen take a 12-0 lead.
Now that turnover is going to come back and haunt the Admirals.
It really is. That one hurt, especially after the first touchdown. You wanted to hang on. The first thing you said was, we'll see if the Admirals can get some first downs, hold on to the football.
And Terry King's keeping his offense there. They're going for 2.
They're going to try and make it 14 after missing the first point after touchdown. The wind pushing the attempt that time of Forbes after the first touchdown wide right. So they'll go for 2.
And you're listening to the Steelmen of the Admirals right here on WEOL, Elyria, Lorain.
In the backfield, Chapman along with Church. Christensen under center. He's going to hand it off all alone. Church around the left end for the 2-point conversion.
He pulled up from his sprint 2 yards before the end zone. He was so wide open. Just waltzed in.
Easy 2-point conversion. So that'll make it 14. 14-0. The Lorain Steelmen over the Admiral King Admirals with 6:25 left. After the Church 1-yard run and 2-point conversion run, kick comes down to the Admirals. That's Jason Jackson. Jackson across the 25. He lost the football momentarily, but falls on it at about the 25, and that's where the Admirals will put it in play.
You know, Dudziak's a straight-on kicker. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
He's one of the last ones
One of the
around.
few.
One of the very few.
Of a dying breed. You don't see them very often.
These soccer-style kickers are everywhere these days.
And now with more soccer being played, of course, in high school and in grade school, we'll see it more and more often.
We were down past Lorain County Community College today, and boy, there were people out there in the middle of a rainstorm watching their little kids play soccer.
On a rollout comes DeTilio. He's across the 25, and he'll get slammed down at about the 29-yard line on a quarterback rollout keeper.
That's about as far as you could possibly run for a gain of 1 yard.
It really was.
He went from one side of the field to the other, ladies and gentlemen.
And on the stop was Adam Lucas of the Steelmen. And a pickup of about 2 yards.
Oh, they're going to give him 2.
Marked at the 29-yard line. 2nd and 8 for the Admirals, heading into the strong north wind and trailing in this one 14-0. Game was scoreless through the first, but the Steelmen struck quickly. DeTilio calling the signals, hands it off in the backfield. Here it comes. It's Hagwood across the 30 up to about close to the 35-yard line, a pickup of nearly 5 yards. In on the tackle, Maldonado. As Hagwood finally gets up. Also, Zabo in on the assist on the tackle. It'll be a 3rd and 3 for the Admirals. Next week, Admiral King will be at Elyria against the Pioneers. And the Lorain Steelmen take on their neighbors, the Southview Saints, right here at George Daniel. 3rd and 3. Handoff up the middle it goes to Boone, and Boone isn't going to get anywhere. Maybe a pickup of a yard, but well short of the first down. Tried to take it over his right side, but the Steelmen were ready and not fooled at all. Once again, Lucas in on the tackle. Zabel was there.
Officials timeout on the field right now.
You have a momentary timeout. And they're going to measure this. It looked like about a yard short, although we were fooled earlier, and they're not short. Boy, it's just by the nose of the football if they are short of the first down.
Yeah, it is. Just
that's
real
closer
close
than I thought from our angle here. Just an inch shy of the first down. So we'll see what the Admirals do. It should bring up a 4th down.
Did you have a chance to go down the field beforehand?
Yes, I was.
How's
Field
it?
wasn't bad. It was just wet, but not,
After the
not
day's
mushy.
rain, yeah.
Not mushy at all. Excellent condition, really, for the rain that we did have, and really have had the past few weeks throughout September and into October. The Admirals are going to go for it on 4th and an inch. Here we go. In the backfield, Boone along with Hagwood. DeTilio on a quarterback keeper. Should have had it. Should have it. He picked up at least a yard across the 37, striped up to about the 38 or 39-yard line.
I think what will really help is having Hagwood and Jackson come up there and pop him in the behind to get him across the line of scrimmage. Kind of pushed him over.
Supposedly illegal, but I think he had it anyway, and then a little assist didn't hurt. So the Admirals get a first down and keep possession of the football. Split wide out is Yancey to the left. High in the backfield. Fake handoff by DeTilio, rolls to his left. He's got a lot of running room across the 40, 45, hit hard up to the 50-yard line before he goes down. The man who laid the hit on him was Don Church, but DeTilio on a rollout picks up big yardage, make that about a 12-yard gain and the first down for the Admirals at midfield.
That's 2 consecutive first downs for AK.
Just under 4 minutes left here in the second quarter before halftime. We're at 3:59. Clock stops for the movement of the chain, and
Wally,
the whistle will start it.
I don't know the last time we saw a quarterback run more than he's passed, and here Mr. DeTilio's doing just that tonight.
Pitch deep in the backfield to Hagwood. Hagwood across the 50 down to about the Lorain 45-yard line, a pickup of nearly 5. They're a team that will run more than they pass, as both head coaches agreed. These teams are dissimilar in that Lorain will throw the ball a little bit more than the Admirals. But the Admirals, with their best offensive drive of the evening so far, we're down to 3.5 minutes left.
Very quickly played first half.
A second, and we'll call it 5. DeTilio on the handoff up the middle to Hagwood. No running room at all. Swarmed upon by a number of Steelmen. Rousseau in on the tackle.
But see, now there's the situation I really don't understand. He ran into the back of like 2 or 3 of his own blockers, and he just waited for the blockers to move, and that allowed the Lorain Steelmen to just come in and swarm him because he was going nowhere as his blockers were going nowhere. He should have bounced off and tried something else.
He should have. By then it was too late. He got wrapped up. Rousseau was there along with Big David Larson. So it's a third and a loss of about a yard, a third and about 6, call it. High in the backfield. Yancey split out along with Lawson. Lawson now on the flanker screen, gets the pass and tries to reverse his field, comes to his left as he caught it, and he's going to go down and for a gain of nothing, if not a loss of a yard. It was a nice intention on that play, but Lorain was ready for it as DeTilio fired it out to the right to Lawson as he took a couple of steps back on that flanker screen, then tried to run left, and it just wasn't there, the opening, so the Admirals will be forced to punt the football.
Sometimes when you don't pass much, the passes that you do throw are the ones that you get to see a lot on film.
That's right, and they weren't fooled at all, I think is what you're trying to say, Mike.
Yeah, in that particular instance.
Now we have a officials stoppage in play.
Equipment problem for the Steelman helmet.
Looks like Don Church over there has a helmet problem, and one of the officials looking at him. Now he's got it all set.
Interesting, just to follow up on that statistic about Tony DeTilio running more than he's passed. He's lost 1 yard on passing, while he's gained 16 on the ground on 5 carries.
So the Admirals to punt the football. Williams is back.
Fake.
And it's a fake punt. And getting it in the short formation and down the left sideline for a first down. And we've got to see who that is. That DeTilio himself, the quarterback? I believe it is.
He was the up man.
DeTilio was the up man for the blocking for the punter, and the snap went directly to DeTilio. And a nice fake by the punter, by the way. As I saw the ball and I was looking back, and it was in DeTilio's hands. A big pickup that time. Give him a gain of about 16 yards on the play. 1st and 10 Admirals from the Lorain 38-yard line. DeTilio handoff in the backfield to Hagwood. Hagwood across the 35. Make that across the 30 down to about the 29-yard line, and a gain of about 5 on the play. So the Admirals with nothing to lose, they feel, and head coach Tom Cisco fooled everyone, including the Lorain Steelmen. Gain of about 4, 2nd and 6 from, we'll call it the 30-yard line of Lorain. 1:23 left, time running down here in the first. DeTilio's pass, and they're going to call it a lateral. It went to the man in motion. I believe that was Hagwood. He dropped it on the ground, and it wasn't ruled incomplete.
Well, I'll tell you, that looked like it was a forward pass to me. But
it looked forward.
Yeah, it definitely did. But again, we've got that funny angle.
We do, and it goes for a loss of about 2 yards. Hagwood did a good job just staying with that ball. But he didn't hear the whistle and did the smart thing and kept with it. They ruled it a lateral. It was behind DeTilio. So it's a 3rd and 7. Boone in the backfield along with Hagwood. Yancey split out wide left, Lawson wide right. Fake handoff and a reverse. It goes to
around.
Lawson, has some room, turns it up the middle across the 25 down to maybe the 24, but I think short of a first down, Mike. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, it looks pretty short, and the Admirals want to take time.
Going to have to, just 33 seconds left before the half. And they'll go for it on this one. It's too far to kick it into the wind. Would be a 32, make it a 42-yard field goal attempt into the wind. And 4th and maybe a yard. And the Admirals will talk about it. We'll keep it right here for now, with fear of getting back a little bit too late for the play itself. From the Lorain 25-yard line. Boone in the backfield along with Hagwood. Handoff goes to Boone. He's got the first down. As he's down to about the 22-yard line.
Admirals won another time.
Tackled there by Zabel, and one more timeout, Admirals. We will take a break. 28 seconds left before halftime. Lorain leads at 14-0. We'll be right back. 28 seconds left before halftime. Yancey split wide left, Lawson wide right. In motion comes Hagwood, and another flanker screen to Lawson. They're going to try a flea flicker that time, and Lawson got tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, that was going to be a halfback pass.
They're going to call it a fumble. That it was a completed pass, and Lawson fumbled it.
No.
Yeah, they are.
Did he fumble? Oh, my goodness.
Yes, he did. They didn't blow the whistle. They said it was a completed pass and a fumble. Lorain has it on their own 29-yard line.
At the 29, gosh, he lost a couple of yards on the pass play.
Lost on the pass play and lost the football, and that's the important thing. So the Admirals, with their deepest penetration of the evening, come away empty. And I'm sure now with just, the clock running, the Steelman, Christensen will just kneel on this one and run out the half. There's the snap coming up. He does hand it off, rather, to Church. And Church banged down in the backfield for no gain, and that is the end of the first half. So the Admirals threaten but do not score, and they come away shut out here in the first half. It's been all the Lorain Steelmen with the score at halftime. Lorain 14 and Admiral King nothing. Mike and I will be back with a scoring recap. The team for the Admirals is Mike Sestelli, and back deep for the Lorain Steelmen.
Now this may have something to play here, Wally. The Admirals are going to have the wind in their face in the final period. Steelman will have it at their backs in the fourth and
the
final
Admirals
stanza.
are going to try and take advantage of it here in the third if they can. Sestelli with the player holding it, and that was Hagwood, kicks it to the middle of the field. Williams fields it across the 25 to the 30, upended, and he tried to cut it back. He was tackled there by Lawson and goes down at the Lorain 35-yard line, where they will begin the second half of action. Set the Admiral King defense once more. Rutkowski and Rodriguez at the ends, Penrod and Torres at the tackles, O'Neill, DeTilio, and Boone at the linebackers, Lawson, Hagwood, Matthews, and Jackson, the defensive backs, as the Steelmen break the huddle. With Williams in motion in the backfield, the handoff will go up the middle to Don Church. Church with a spin move over the 40, up to the first down, up to the 45-yard line. A gain of about 11, and that is a first down for Don Church. Church scored in the first half for Lorain on a 1-yard TD run and a 2-point conversion run. So Lorain off to a quick start on their first play of the second half, 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line. In the slot, Church and Williams, Chapman in the backfield. Ball handed off to the big fullback, London Chapman, who gets bottled up at the line of scrimmage and tackled right there by about 4 or 5 Admirals. Rutkowski was there. DeTilio came up on the tackle, and the last man underneath the pile as he gets up right now. And we'll have to see who that is. A new player on defense. We're going to have to pick his number out. And I don't see it in the roster. Oh, there it is, Terrence Williams, excuse me. A 2nd and 10 for Lorain. Chapman in the backfield. In motion comes Williams to his left. The Admirals jump offside as Christensen's count pulled them off. And, well, now Lorain...
About three of the Admirals went into the neutral zone. So
yeah, they did.
And Coach Hunsinger, when we have him on Friday night, boy, he is adamant. He hates that rule. I don't understand that really either. I don't understand why, if you're on defense,
contact.
Yeah, no contact. Why can't you jump in and jump back? That doesn't make any sense to me.
That cost the Admirals 5, and the Steelmen are ready to go. Christensen under his center, Dan Forbes. Williams in motion to the left. Ball handed off to Church, and Church is going to lose yardage. Boy, a lot of Admirals in on that one. Jackson in on the tackle. Also there for the Admirals was big number 87, Mike O'Neill, and a loss of, well, they'll call it hardly at all, as they say, his forward progress got him back to just about the line of scrimmage, and that sets up a 3rd and 5. And again, the Steelmen go to the north, right into the wind here at George Daniel. Christensen calls the signals, back to pass, straight drop back. He's being pressured now, still dropping back. He's rolling right, he's got to get it away and does, and it's completed. The pass is caught by Greg Williams, who came back for the football.
And that was almost a first down because he was right here at the 45.
That's right.
Just on just this side of the 45.
Across midfield, but he had to run back to get the football and tackled about, well, maybe a yard and a half or 2 yards shy of the mark.
Maybe our spotter Bob Quinlan can tell us for sure.
That'll bring up a 4th down, and we've got a player injured, and that might be Greg Williams, as he was hit hard on the tackle.
Yeah, he got whacked pretty good, but I'll tell you something. He did a good job of coming back and helping his quarterback out.
He did. It looked like Christensen was in all kinds of trouble as he was rolling and fading back in his backfield. Let's take a timeout as they work on Greg Williams here. With the score 14-0, we have the Steelmen are going to punt it with Dudziak ready for the snap from center. He gets it, boots it away. Nobody deep for Admiral King, and the ball's just going to go and roll, taking a Steelman bounce inside the 20 down to about the 15-yard line. I don't know why they didn't have a deep man back there, but they decided not to. Maybe they were really worried about a fake on a 4th and about 2. So the Admirals will get possession, though, as they hold the Steelmen on their first possession here in the second half. 14-0 they trail. The wind's at their back, Mike. And you would have to think they got to take advantage of it, and DeTilio is going to have to put it in the air.
Yeah, I would think that they'd have to start putting a little air into the ball a little bit.
Yancey split out wide left, Lawson to the right, eye in the backfield. And the ball handed off to Hagwood, the deep man, the tailback. He takes it across the 20. Might have got it up to the 21-yard line for a gain of about 5.
He's really carried the load for the Admirals tonight, no doubt about that.
Herb Hagwood, short in stature, but a stocky young man and difficult to tackle. So it's 2nd and, we'll call it 6. They've got to get up to about the 26-yard line.
Unofficially, I'm sorry, Wally. Unofficially, after that carry, Mr. Hagwood's carried the ball 12 times, picked up 35 yards.
DeTilio pitches wide left, comes Hagwood. Hagwood bottled up, then breaks it across the 30, across the 35, up to about the 35-yard line, where that'll be good enough for a first down. Pickup of about, well, nearly 15 yards that time for Herb Hagwood, and the first down. We'll set the Admiral King offense quickly if we can. At center, Raul Velez, the guards, Matt Penrod and Phil Rutkowski, Jeremy Wilt and Kevin Bowman, the tackles. Quarterback is DeTilio. We do have an officials timeout. The backs are Ken Boone and Herb Hagwood. Jason Jackson seen some action in the backfield along with Terrence Williams. Raji Matthews, Mike O'Neill are split ends. Paul Lawson is the flanker, along with A.J. Yancey, who has played quite a bit this evening. And right now,
working on the helmet.
They're working on the helmet. Is right with an equipment problem, and that's Jody Coleman, one of the linebackers for Lorain. Let's set their defense while we do have this moment. Up front, David Larson, Zach Rousseau, Adam Lucas, along with Johnny Rodriguez. The linebackers, London Chapman, Rick Zabo, and Don Church. And in the backfield, Jeff Dudziak, Greg Williams, along with Damian Strouser. High in the backfield, we've got a 1st and 10. Admiral King pitch back to Hagwood. Over right tackle, we've got a flag after a nice pickup of about 12 by Hagwood, but this one might come back.
I think that's going to be a hold.
I think you're right, Mike. We'll see.
Yep.
Holding Admiral King. Oh, that hurts.
Oh, it sure does, especially after a nice run like that.
Yeah, it does, especially when you're down 14-0 and you need points. So the Steelmen say we'll take it, and they will. And the Admirals are going to be marched back.
It negates the nice run by Hagwood, and from the point of the infraction.
From the point of the infraction.
March off 15.
Which was the 37.
March off 10, I'm sorry.
10-yard penalty, and take it back to about the 27, 26-yard line. A 1st and 20 facing the Admirals. Down to 8:08 left here in the third. In the slot is Lawson to the left, I in the backfield. That's Boone along with Hagwood. And Yancey split wide right. Pitch back to Hagwood. He takes it across the 25, across the 30, up to about the 32-yard line. Gain of about 5. Tackle in there, Rousseau for the Steelmen along with Torres. And Wamby Davis was there. It'll bring up a 2nd and about 12 now, which would make that about almost an 8-yard gain from the line of scrimmage. I in the backfield again. That's Boone and Hagwood. DeTilio under center. DeTilio handoff to Hagwood. Hagwood's going to go nowhere. He's going to get caught for a loss of a yard, it looks like that time, by the Steelman. The tackle was Zabo. Chapman in on the tackle also, and then that'll bring up a 3rd down for the Admirals if they have disdained the pass and they're running the football. But time's running out on them as they do it.
I guess for the Admirals, it's one of those scenarios you dance with who brung you.
I suppose. They don't want to get away from the game plan. Lawson wide right and Yancey to the left this time with the eye in the backfield. DeTilio fake handoff, drops back, pressures on, pressure sack. He's piled up by a number of Steelmen that time. In on the stop for the Steelmen, Jeff Dudziak was there, along with Rousseau.
Now you've got lots of people saying, well, that's why you don't pass.
His protection wasn't there.
Yeah, not that time.
His receivers were covered far downfield, and it really wasn't DeTilio's fault. And the clock keeps moving. We're approaching the 6-minute mark here in the third. Back to punt is Nathan Buck for the Steelmen, and Greg Williams back to field the punt for the Steelmen. Williams and Buck to punt for the Admirals. Pressure's on, but Buck gets it away. A high kick and a nice punt with the win. Williams fields it at about the 45-yard line. Run out of bounds on the far side near the Lorain bench. But he got it up to near midfield, and it looks like an Admiral is down over there. Someone who was in on the tackle. We can't tell his number. So Lorain will put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 49-yard line when we get to action. Now that Admiral King Admiral is bounced back up to his feet. If we can pick a number out and don't see it, 76 Jeremy Wilt, with help from engineer Tim Pagasnik.
The all-seeing, all-knowing Tim Pagasnik.
Ever observant, and that's all we need. So Lorain with the football 1st and 10. Church goes in motion. Fake handoff to Church. Christensen drops back with it. Passes left flat. Got it. London Chapman across the 40 to the 35 to the 30. Still on his feet down the left sideline. Cuts it back across the 20 down to the 15-yard line. London Chapman staying on his feet.
Well, he did a good job.
With a big gain.
I thought he stepped on the sideline at about the 26 or 27
I thought so too. He was very close but stayed in bounds.
But the official was right there.
Big gain for London Chapman on a 1st down play, all the way from his own 49-yard line. Takes it down to about the 15-yard line. About a 36-yard gain on that pass play, as we get a note. And we'll read that later as we get into the post game. The handoff goes to Church. Church over right, tackle swarmed down by the Admirals. He got it back to about the line of scrimmage. In on the tackle, Terrence Williams for the Admirals. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and, well, a pickup of maybe 2 yards, 2nd and about 8. Line of scrimmage, the Admiral King 15-yard line. And the Admirals now, with their backs to the wall, have to hold Lorain out of the end zone. Christensen looks over the field. Church in the slot along with Williams. Chapman in the backfield. Zabo split wide left. Handoff on a reverse. Comes Williams on a misdirection across the 10-yard line down to about the 7 and close to a Lorain 1st down.
The Admirals are really starting to sock it in, and they get down to that red zone, the Steelman's red zone there. And Steelman are finding it hard to go. The Admirals doing a good job of closing up the gaps.
They're about a yard shy of the first down. That Lorain offense again, Rousseau and Terry at the tackles, Larson and Ruben Belisario, along with center Dan Forbes up front, Christensen, Chapman, Williams, along with Church in the backfield. Now Williams in motion, handoff goes to Church. Church needs a yard for the first down. Stacked up by about 6 Admirals that time. He got close.
I don't know.
I don't think he made it on a 3rd and 2. And it'll be interesting here, right dead into the wind, if Lorain will try a field goal or go for it on 4th and a yard from about the 7-yard line. Now, Big London Chapman rumbles in from the sideline, and Wamby Davis will go out of the game. Chapman could be the ball carrier here. We'll see. They've got a solid yard to go as the Admirals stack it up in the middle. The Steelmen come up to the line of scrimmage. Chapman the lone back. Williams in motion right. Hand off to Chapman. Chapman's got the first down. Looked like he made it to about the 5-yard line as he took it between his right guard and right tackle that time, Rousseau and Belisario. And it looks like it's good enough for the first down.
That's one of those times in the huddle, you look at your guard and your tackle and you say, okay, guys, we're coming your way. Let's go.
That's right. If you guys don't make it happen, I'm not getting the first down. But Chapman picked it up. 1st and goal, Steelman from the Admiral King 5-yard line. Christensen, the quarterback, leads them up to the line of scrimmage. Chapman, the lone back again. In the double slot. Hand off to Church as he comes right to left. Church fights, still on his feet. He's down to about the 1-yard line where there is a big stack. Looks like a rugby play. Everybody in on that one.
Rugby scrum. We saw one of those last week, didn't we?
Steelman and Admirals, the blue jerseyed Admirals and the white jerseyed Steelman. And a pickup that time for Church of about, 2 yards down to about the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal. 14-0. Lorain leads this one and they threaten again.
Boy, Church has earned the last 6 yards, hasn't he?
He really has. 2:25 left here in the 3rd. Full house backfield this time. Church on the handoff. Church is going to get in for the touchdown. He took it right up the middle.
Second effort. He got met at the line of scrimmage, but he really did power it. And like Coach Hunsinger says, keep moving those feet. Chop, chop, chop. And he kept it going north and south. Ends up in the end zone.
And he did. Nobody hit him low enough to stop him. And Don Church scores his 2nd touchdown of the evening with 2:12 left here in the 3rd. And the Steelmen go up 20-0, pending the extra point attempt. And they're going to try and kick this one into the wind. This ought to be interesting. Dan Forbes sets it up. His holder is Christensen. They need another blocker on the field. They're lined up, ready to go. Snap is good, hold is good. The kick is up, and it's wide right, it looks like, and it is. No good on the point after touchdown. So with 2:12 left in the 3rd quarter, the Steelmen strike again.
They could wrap up bragging rights for the whole shooting match.
Yeah, they'll want to get the Saints too, but Southview has other plans.
I think you're right.
The kickoff downfield picked up by Hagwood of Admiral King across the 35, across the 30. He fumbled the football. At about the 37, we have a pile up, and Admiral King retains possession.
He was being dragged down by the arm that he was carrying the ball in, and that you have enough pressure on that arm, the thing in the arm is going to come loose, and that's exactly what happened. But while he was struggling for the ball, he was able to fall on it.
They stripped him of the football.
Yep.
Big David Larson was there, but was not able to get to it.
And this is the Steelmen and the Admirals. Erie Shore Conference action on your hometown sports authority, WEOL, Elyria, Lorain.
So DeTilio will try and get the Admirals on the board. They begin it with good field position. 1st and 10, their own 37. Drop back to pass. DeTilio looks to his right, fires, but off the hands and out of bounds as Paul Lawson made a dive at the 50, but it was just led too much by DeTilio. 2nd and 10. Well, the Steelmen have looked good tonight, Mike. They've looked solid. I know you did their game with Tim and Don last Friday over at Midview, and you said it was a game they could have won.
If they've gone 5 quarters last week instead of 4, the Admirals probably would, or I should say the Steelmen probably would have done the job. They really played very, very, very well in the second half of play.
And tonight they've put it all together for the 20-0 lead. DeTilio with the eye in the backfield and a reverse handoff to Lawson. Lawson gains some nice yardage and maybe a first down. I think a little bit short as he took it across the 45 up to about the 46, almost the 47-yard line, and that would be the first down mark.
That was a very nice quick hitter to the opposite side.
Yeah, it was. One of those misdirection plays again as the other backs went to their right and Lawson got the handoff from DeTilio and went left and then up the middle. But just a little bit shy of the first down. They may measure.
They are. They're bringing the chain out. We're going to hold our breath here.
We should be able to eye this one. We're right on it. And
well, to me, it looks.
It's like by the nose of the football, one way or the other. And they stretch the chains, and it is the first down by about half the length of the football. So another first down for Admiral King, and they get to keep it for 4 more downs anyway.
Their 8th of the night, as a matter of fact.
The Admirals have done some good things on offense this evening. They just can't sustain a drive, not well enough to get into the end zone. But 1st and 10 from their own 47. Ball almost at midfield, squarely in the center of the field, down to 1:23 left in the third. Back to pass goes DeTilio. DeTilio sets, fires, caught by O'Neal across midfield to about the Lorain 45-yard line, pickup of about 8 yards. Nice hook up to big number 87, Mike O'Neal from DeTilio.
And that brings the Admirals' passing game into the positive yardage for the first time tonight. They had been at -3. That brings it up to 2 yards on 4 attempts. DeTilio connected on 3 of those 4, but 2 of those were for minus yardage.
Yancey split wide left, Lawson in the slot. Pitch back, it goes to Hagwood. Hagwood will take it down the right sideline. Good enough for a first down.
Well, we're going to have to watch those pitches. Those are all coming up awful high.
Excuse me, that wasn't Hagwood. That was Jackson in for Hagwood as the tailback that time. As Herbie's on the sideline and right in front of us now as we look down. It doesn't look to be hurt, but Jackson in and picks up the first down, Jason Jackson. Nice pickup that time of nearly 10 yards. 1st and 10 Admirals from the Lorain 36-yard line. They're on the move. DeTilio on the handoff. Jackson's got it. Jackson caught from behind that time by Lucas, and then dragged down by a number of the Steelmen. I believe Zabel was in on that tackle along with Lucas. Also in on the stop was Jeff Dudziak for the Steelmen. Pickup of about 4 yards on the carry by Jackson. It's a 2nd and 6 as we're down to 12 seconds left here in the third. Under 10 now. This Admirals will get one more playoff with the wind at their backs. DeTilio on a rollout right, cuts back to the middle of the field. Is going to gain some yards. DeTilio down to about the 26-yard line and very close to an Admiral first down as time runs out here in the third quarter. With the score, Lorain 20 and Admiral King nothing. We'll be back and tell you if the Admirals picked up the first down as they switch ends of the Steelmen. Again, our score 20-0. And here they come to the line of scrimmage on a very key third down. They would love to break this ice. Yancey split wide left. In the slot is Lawson, eye in the backfield. And keeping it is DeTilio. DeTilio got the first down. He takes it over the 25-yard line down to about the 23, a pickup of nearly 4 yards on that carry. And a quarterback keeper and gained a lot as they saw a soft spot in that Lorain middle. And the Admirals with another first down. Zabel went on the tackle for the Steelmen, and the Admirals come up quickly to the line of scrimmage. Lawson in the slot left. Yancey split wide right this time. The eye in the backfield. Williams, the tailback. On the pitch, got it. Jackson now fumbles the football, and Williams recovers.
Looks like Williams tried to pick the ball up and advance it still, but probably the best thing he could have done is just fall on it.
I think Jason Jackson saw a lot of yards and a lot of green pasture in front of him. Didn't hang on to that football as well as he should have, but his teammate, Terrence Williams, was there to pick it up and avert another disaster. This is as far deep as the Admirals have been all night long against the Lorain defense.
And another Steelman's down on the field.
We do have a break in the action, and should we take a break, Mike? Might as well.
Hey.
That was Songhai Capers, who is all right. His nickname is Pookie Capers.
Pookie?
Pookie's okay, though. Everything's groovy with Pookie, and we're back to action. Here we go. On the handoff, it's DeTilio fumbled the ball as he tried to get it to Lawson. Boy, the Admirals can't hang on to the ball deep in Lorain territory, but I think they got it back.
They're dodging bullets left and right. Dodging bullets left and right.
So they face a third down and about 9 yards now from the 23-yard line. They moved it down to the 23 near the end of the first half, and Lawson fumbled a football after making a reception. And now they had it as deep as the 21. They've lost a couple and face a third down. Yancey split wide left. In the slot is Lawson right. High in the backfield. Rolling is DeTilio. He's going to keep it across the 20 down to about the 16, but that's going to still be 2 or 3 yards shy of a first down. Bringing up a fourth and about 2 or 3. And the Admirals are going to have to go for it. No sense in a field goal down 20-0. And with the wind, it'd just be too tough to kick it. And we do have a timeout, Admiral King, with 10:22 left here in the fourth. Timeout Admirals, score Lorain 20, and the Admirals nothing. Call it a long 3. Yancey again split wide left, Lawson in the slot. There's an eye in the backfield behind DeTilio. The quarterback, DeTilio, roll right. He's in trouble, gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, stays on his feet, and he scrambled across the 15, but shy of the first down, and then I thought he lost the football, Mike.
I thought he was going to take a big loss, but boy, he proved to be rather slippery on that.
Good second effort, but despite that, he's shy of the first down, and they'll turn it over on downs to the Steelmen.
And the only saving grace on the fact that they turned it down over there, on that, you know, here you go, Lorain starting deep in their own territory.
They have to put a defensive stop to them, and with that stop for the Admirals, some of the fans, some of the faithful get up and go on a cold night. We have the windows open here in the press box at George Daniel. Don't think that we're warm, because we're not. We may be sheltered from the wind a little bit. So Lorain with it, 1st and 10 from, we'll call it their own 15-yard line. And the handoff will go up to middle. I see Chapman down, but it wasn't to Chapman. Maybe Don Church on the carry. We'll have to wait till they umpile, and it was Church with a gain of, well, maybe 2 yards across the 15, about the 17-yard line.
Don didn't see too much action really in the third period. He had a couple of small gains, but he didn't rip any big ones off like he did in the first half.
You're right, after scoring. Well, he did have the one touchdown run, though, there in the third, but that was just a 2-yarder. So it's a 2nd and 8 for the Steelmen, again dressed in their white and black. And the handoff goes to Greg Williams around left end, and he gets knocked out of bounds across the 20-yard line. A pickup of about 4 yards. Hagwood was in on the tackle for the Admirals, along with Errol Torres. 9:13 left in the third. The clock stopped as Williams did go out of bounds. 3rd down and 4 for the Steelmen. The wind's at their back right now. Split wide right. Strouser in motion comes Church, and back to pass Christensen. Christensen rolls to his right, lofts it up way deep right, man open, but overthrown. Just could not make connections that time.
I think he got that ball.
Receiver.
That ball got so far up in the air. I think there may be a little wind-aided yardage tacked onto that one.
Really, the wind carried it just too far. And the intended receiver was Bob Christensen. Spells the same name as Jason. So that may be his brother. First action we have seen out of Bob Christensen. And back to punt for the Steelmen will go Jeff Dudziak. Back deep is Lawson for the Admirals. And a bad punt off the side of his foot. It'll take a Lorain roll across the Lorain 40 to the Lorain 45, but the Admirals will have good field position when they put it in play. 1st and 10 from the Steelman 45-yard line. They've moved the football down to, well, the 20-yard line range, that red zone on a couple of occasions, but haven't been able to get into the end zone. But they'll put it back in action. And
right now, about all they can hope for is to stave off the shutout.
I think so. The offense just not explosive enough unless something crazy happens to make up a 20-point deficit. 20-0 they trail. Yancey split wide left. Now back to pass to DeTilio. Rolls, turns around, lofts one out for O'Neal, but overthrown across the 40-yard line and incomplete. In on the defense was Jason Christensen, the quarterback, who plays safety and a defensive back role on the defensive side of the football. Now Christensen will go out of the game. And the Admirals have a 2nd and 10 facing them, with Yancey split out wide to the left. DeTilio with the eye in the backfield. Pitches back to Hagwood, who's back into the game. Herb will take it across the 45 for a gain of maybe 2 or 3, down to about the 43-yard line before he's tackled there.
You know, in watching Hagwood that time, Wally, if he gets the pitch after only a couple of steps, but if he was able to ever get a head of steam up and really go, he'd just still be running. He'd really be able to take off.
You can tell he has good speed. He just hasn't been able to bust one yet. Now the play for Admiral King brought in from the sideline by Marco Rodriguez. And again, Yancey split wide left. There's an eye in the backfield with Hagwood, the tailback. Fake to Hagwood, back to pass to Tilio. DeTilio throws it deep downfield to Lofter, and incomplete. Don Church had the interception in his hip pocket, but couldn't hang on to the football, and it falls harmlessly to the turf, and Admirals face a 4th and 8. Then they'll go for this, I would imagine.
At this point, really no option.
Wow, there's
flag, penalty.
Yeah, we do have a flag. I didn't see it. Good eyes, Mike. And I think a block below the waist, is this what he called? I couldn't see the official indication. They're talking with Lorain, though, and
it's going to go against AK.
Penalty's going to go against Admiral King.
When it's not going your way, it's just not going your way.
And that pass by DeTilio, he just threw it dead into the wind.
Yeah, it kind of died.
Those dying quails, as they say. Boy, look at the flag, straight out.
Straight out. We commented before the ball game that it's been very rare that we've come down here to George Daniel and see that wind whipping like this straight. You know, the flag is straight to the parking lot here at George Daniel, if you're familiar with it, and that's right out of the north.
The only other time that I was here for a game like this was way back in '86 in late September, might have been early October. Admiral King, I believe, was playing Elyria, and a storm hit, and they had to call the game off, and we saw the flag ripped off the flagpole that night.
That was the electrical storm night.
Yes, it was. So the Admirals way back now on their own 40, and sacked in the backfield is DeTilio, as he got thrown down that time by the blitzing linebacker Jody Coleman. In on the sack, knocked down at the 31-yard line, a loss of about 9 yards. And that brings up a 4th down, and let's count the yardage. 10, 20, 4th and about 30. And I think the Admirals will just punt it away this time. As into the game is Nathan Buck to punt for the Admirals. Steelman will get excellent field position because Nathan's punt into the wind, we're calling it before it happens, probably won't go too far. He does get a good snap, though. And the punt is blocked. The punt is blocked. It rolls, and it'll be pounced upon at about the Admiral 34-yard line by Lorain, and that's where they'll have it 1st and 10. I didn't notice who got the hand on the football. There are about 3 white-shirted Steelmen in on that one, and Buck didn't have a chance. So to avert the shutout, the Admirals are going to have to try in their next possession, and the Steelmen now with the wins at their back would like to tack one more up before this one's over. 7-12 left in the ball game. It's been all Lorain for the most part, 20-0. Steelmen lead it as they break their huddle and come up to the line of scrimmage. We have a new quarterback into the game. Christensen is out, and Adam Lucas is the quarterback. And he hands off to Don Church in the backfield. Church across left tackle across the 35 to about the 33 before he's pushed back, and that's where they'll mark his forward progress. Thanks for joining us for high school football this evening, and after the game we'll announce our WEOL Chronicle Telegram player of the game, $25 in that player's name to his high school's athletic fund. Again tomorrow, Browns and Dolphins football, 12:30 the pregame, 1 o'clock kickoff from what ought to be a very cool stadium, if not cold. So Lucas in at quarterback for the Steelmen. in motion. And the handoff will go, as they do put some new players into the ball game, is Markel James. Markel James, number 20, gets back to the line of scrimmage and doesn't pick up much, as Terry King, the head coach of the Steelmen, now liberally using his ball players, feeling comfortable with the 20-0 lead, although Don Church is still in there. He's their explosive back. Markel James is the tailback, with Greg Williams still in there and Church in the slot.
I feel fairly confident that Markel's no relation.
And the pass, a swing pass to Williams across the 30, 35, 20, inside the 20 down to about the 15-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds over there by Raji Matthews. But a big pickup and a first down for the Steelmen.
Nicely done.
And it'll go for about a 17-yard pickup down to the 18-yard line.
That almost seemed like
Admirals.
it was happening in slow motion.
Yeah, it did. Just a little swing pass to Williams to the right, and he was wide open. They had a tight formation that time on offense, and I thought maybe the Admirals were thinking that he might just run the football up the gut, but Williams went in motion and caught the swing pass with Church and Markel James in the backcourt. No, Markel's no relation, I don't think, Mike. And the handoff to Don Church up the middle, and he'll take it down to about the 15-yard line. A gain of about 3 or 4 on the play. And on the tackle for the Admirals, the middle of that defense, DeTilio, Torres was in there, Matt Penrod. And it's a second and about 6, a pickup of nearly 4. We're down under the 5-minute mark here in the fourth, as the Steelmen threaten once again on the Admiral 15-yard line. Handoff in the backfield that time, and that goes to Jody Coleman, who's in on offense.
That one wasn't really done very well.
Not at all. They were waiting for him. Torres was there. And not much of a chance at all for Coleman, as he might have lost a yard or 2, and that'll bring up a third and about 9 for the Steelmen. We'll see if they pass it or if they just run the football. Again, Lucas, the quarterback, in for Christensen. In the slot goes James in motion. The fake handoff by Lucas. He's going to keep it on a rollout, and he's tackled at about the 15-yard line after a pickup of about 3 yards as he rolled to his left. And that'll bring up a 4th down. Now it'll be interesting to see what Lorain does. They might boot a field goal, although some people might consider that rubbing it in a little bit, up 20-0. But with the wind at their back, this might be a good time to try it, although I don't think so. No, they're not going to. They're going to go for it on 4th down. Williams, the lone back. In motion on a fake handoff. Lucas back to pass, throws it into the end zone, touchdown. And we've got a flag on the play, a late hit on the quarterback.
That's going to be a roughing the passer call. The touchdown's going to stand.
Touchdown reception, Greg Williams. And that was just about the same spot he caught his first touchdown pass. This time on a little bit different play. Nice arm showing that time by Adam Lucas. Touchdown pass. We'll call it about, a 17-yarder to Greg Williams, and roughing the quarterback. And that call will go against Admiral King. Decline. The touchdown stands. Lucas really got hit hard when he released the football. Williams didn't drop it on the other end. Touchdown with 3.5 left in this one. It makes it 26-0 Lorain. And they'll try and kick the extra point this time. Forbes, who's yet to make one this evening, and Lucas is his holder. Forbes, a soccer-style kicker, waits the snap to the holder, Lucas. Snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is up, and that one is good. So Forbes gets his first extra point. The Steelmen tack another one on. The score with 3.5 left in this one. Lorain 27, Admiral King nothing. Steelmen set to kick off. They've just scored again, and they lead this one 27-0 over Admiral King. Doing the booting is Dudziak, and we've got a whistle and a flag on the kickoff. And I think Lorain was offside.
I think you're right.
Lorain just scored on an Adam Lucas, the backup quarterback, to Greg Williams, 17-yard pass. Dan Forbes converted the extra point, 27-0. So with the win, the Steelmen will go to 1-2 in the conference, 2-4 overall. The Admirals dropped 0-3 in the conference and 1-5 on the season. A 5-yard penalty, and Dudziak will tee it up there at the 35-yard line. The Admirals will have one last shot here to try and, as Mike said, break the ice and get some points on the scoreboard. Dudziak's kick is away, a short one. Fielded at about the 20-yard line by Jason Jackson. Jason brings it up across the 30 to the 31-yard line. You know, one thing about this game, it's been a very cleanly played game.
Yes, it has.
I don't recall a lot of penalties, Mike, in this one.
No, there have. Well, the reason you don't recall them is because there have been very few. 5 on the Admirals and only 2 on the Steelmen. I was thinking I might have made a mistake, but I've only got 2 on the Steelmen all evening long, and they've been penalized for only 10 yards. And both of those, one was that procedure call just now, offsides and a kickoff, and there was another procedure call earlier in the ballgame.
We'll have to set the offense. No, DeTilio still in at quarterback, pitches back to Hagwood. Their first string skill people are still in there, and Herb Hagwood takes it up to about the 34. From the 32, a gain of about 2 yards. It'll make it 2nd and 8. Coming up on Monday on his local sports at 7:15 in the morning, 12:25 in the afternoon, and at 5:35, Jim Allen will give us his latest compilations on the computer points for the teams in the area. Jim's the first to come out with that before the OHSAA gives it to us later in the week. And the pass from DeTilio caught across the middle. That time on, I believe, what may be his first reception of the night was Yancey for the Admirals. He makes a nice pickup, A.J. Yancey.
Ball was thrown into the wind on a rope by DeTilio.
Pickup of about 13 yards, it was. And the first down. Yancey again splits wide left, Lawson to the right. It's an eye in the backfield, Boone and Hagwood, the starters. Back to pass goes DeTilio. DeTilio's going to run with it now up the middle, across the midfield stripe, over the 50 down to about the 47-yard line, where he's tackled right there. In on the stop for the Steelman that time, Josh Terry. As the Steelmen now have their second string defense in a lot of unfamiliar numbers that we haven't seen earlier in the evening. As we're down under the 2-minute mark at 1:53 and counting. Boone and Hagwood in the backfield in the eye. Lawson and Yancey the wideouts. Handoff up the middle it goes to Hagwood, and Herb takes it across the Lorain 45 to about the 44-yard line, where he's tackled there by Adam Alloway of the Lorain Steelmen. 1:28 as the clock continues to tick. Now DeTilio's going to come out of the game. He is limping, and into the game for the first time at quarterback for the Admirals. We'll have to catch a number is Brian Sapowski. Sapowski calls the signals, hands off up the middle to Boone, and Boone runs across the 35 down to about the 37-yard line. Nice pickup that time for Boone of about 9 yards, and the first down for the Admirals. Ken Boone getting a rare handoff. He's been in the game most of the time, but it's been Hagwood who's been carrying the football, if not Jackson or Williams. Down to 1 minute left exactly remaining in this one. Sapowski's still in at quarterback. Hands it off. It goes to Hagwood. Hagwood across the 30 down to the 25, down to about the 23-yard line. And a gain of nearly 11, and it looks like another Admiral King first down. I'm not sure about their timeout situation. The clock now stops to move the chains, but they have a chance to put some points up on the board, as Marco Rodriguez will come in with the play for Admiral King. And he'll replace Matt Penrod as They bring in the plays for Tommy Cisco. Clock starts down to 38 seconds left. Eye in the backfield. Sapowski drops back to pass, fires across the middle. The ball looks like it bounced in, and it did. It's called incomplete. His intended receiver down there at about the 15-yard line. Well, can't pick a number out. That was Paul Lawson. So it's a 2nd down and 10 for the Admirals. The cheerleaders, give them credit. They're still cheering down there for the Admirals, trying to get them into the end zone here.
A couple of them have put sweatpants on, though, and I can't blame them at all.
I don't blame them at all. A couple of them still with the skirts on. Whoa, it's cold. Sapowski on a misdirection. Handoff goes to Lawson. He's got open room to the 15, 10, 5.
At the 1.
Down at the 1-yard line.
Back the 1-foot line.
Yeah, almost got into the end zone. Paul Lawson almost got in.
Now they're going to have to call time.
Yeah, they are. Well, they have to stop the clock to move the chains. They have a chance to get in right the edge, the nose of the football nearly on the goal line. About a 24-yard pickup and a 1st down for Paul Lawson. A little flanker around that time, and actually he didn't go deep in the backfield, just in front of the quarterback and behind the line of scrimmage. And nobody was to the left, and Lawson made a nice gain of it. So the clock does stop. We do have a timeout. We'll keep it right here with 22 seconds left, as the Admirals will make one last push to get into the end zone.
Yeah,
the quarterback.
They've got some good numbers on the ground.
Full house backfield. Sapowski calls the signals and handoff to Boone over right tackle, touchdown. Sapowski and Boone ran into each other that time, but somehow Boone held on to the football and goes in from the 1-foot line for a 1-yard gain and gets the Admirals on the board. It's 27-6. Ken Boone on the touchdown run for the Admirals. Their first points of the evening after a Paul Lawson 24-yard run set it up at the goal line. Then to attempt the extra point is Mike Sestelli. He's a left-footed kicker. And the hold is good by Buck. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So Sestelli gets on the board also. With the score, Lorain 27 and Admiral King 7. We'll be right back. This evening, better late than never. Too late to win this ball game, but at least they got on the board and should have seen their players afterwards. They congratulated themselves. They were happy. They averted the shutout. Mike had been talking about it now throughout the second half, and they were successful, able to do it. Had a nice drive, and one more kickoff. This will be an onside kick. They'd love to get the ball back one more time as Herb Hagwood holds the football on the tee at the 40-yard line before Sestelli boots it away. It's too windy just to prop the ball up. The wind will knock it off, and Hagwood's going to
stand and watch it.
Well, stand and watch it anyway, if not hold it. Look for the onside kick here as the Steelmen are up, waiting to recover it. It is an onside kick. It doesn't go to 10 yards. The Admirals fell on it, and that'll be a penalty, or they'll just give the ball over to Lorain, and they'll run the clock out, and that's what's going to happen. They'll begin the action from the Admiral King 49. One play with 19 seconds left, and this one will be in the books, with the Steelmen coming away with a victory. And again, next week they play Southview here, while the Admirals will go over to Ely Stadium to take on the Pioneers. Next Friday night on WEOL, by the way, we'll be down in Wellington. That'll be Tim Alcorn and Mike James and Don Hunsinger as the Dukes play host to the Elyria West Wolverines. And the clock does run out, and that is the end of the ball game. Both teams will congratulate each other and then go over to the opposite sides of the field and shake hands with their opponents. The final score from George Daniel: the Lorain Steelmen win the Battle of the City of Lorain, the first of this year anyway. Steelmen 27 and the Admirals 7. We'll be back with the postgame for you right after this.
I'm going to go down and talk to these guys post-game. George Corey, hang on for a second. Maybe we still have some wrap-up to do. Stick around. You guys have a good one. We'll be back. Take a break. Go talk to the victorious Lorain Steelmen 27-7. When we're down there, we'll be right here. All right. I will. We'll be back.
This is WLCS, TV6, Lorain City Schools.